Good evening, and welcome to the U-Talk show, where we do not have a segue to our sponsor. Those of you who have been
Introducing Raid Shadow Legend. Warhammer Tacticus.
Okay, I'm not gonna say no to Warhammer sponsoring us, because then I might be able to actually afford an army.
God, yeah. Oh god, yeah. If they just gave us an army to sponsor us, that would be enough. They wouldn't have to pay us money; just pay us in minis and paint and a paintbrush.
Yeah,
just
like
one paintbrush.
Yeah. Okay, so those of you who've been following YouTube drama may be aware that a Canadian outfit named Linus Media Group has recently found itself in some interesting straits. After being recorded boasting that they intended to differentiate themselves from the competition by maintaining unprecedented standards of accuracy and fidelity, it turned out that, well, at least one of the competitors specifically called out, published a 3/4 of an hour takedown of all of the factual inaccuracies that they'd managed to let slip, plus
over what period of time?
Like a year.
Wow.
Plus
wait. Is it how did it work? Is it like did they pause the video at any time to explain anything, or did they just like show it and maybe flash something up on the screen? Like, how was it dense with it, or was it like spread out?
It was very dense. It was very dense.
There were oh god, this is rich.
Scathing detail about aspects of the work environment of Linus Media Group that created a pressure to produce content over the priority of making sure that content was accurate. The fact that there was no formal retraction process, the fact that people who worked for Linus Media openly stated that they felt they were pressured to produce content and didn't have the time to get it right. And of course, as with anything involving a large media concern or a large public concern, eventually it also came out that a number of former employees testified to a toxic work environment, and one came forward alleging sexual harassment and was backed up by other employees who were there at the time and who said, look, at the time we were afraid to speak out, but that was fucked. So
wow,
that's sort of your introduction.
I mean, I was going to say Nest of Vipers just now, but that doesn't do it justice. Like,
and I want to add a disclaimer here. As far as I can tell, Linus Sebastian became a tech darling and did not manage the transition to being a business very well, because what he has historically wanted to do is play with cool toys and make informative content. But evidently things have slipped through the cracks, and just because you didn't intend for harm to be done, it doesn't mean that you've not done harm. So I want to just say, I'm not going to sledge on anyone here, but I am going to use Linus Media Group as a prominent example of the importance of accountability and integrity in media.
If only anyone in mainstream journalism, anyone in corporate media would actually care.
Except, do you remember? You've mentioned Jordan Shanks previously, and Who Can We Trust? Yes. You'll remember that Jordan Shanks did many takedowns of newscasts that were misrepresenting the situation on the ground, that were distorting facts, that were outright lying.
Yeah, I mean, like, half of his, videos for the first, 4-ish years, longer maybe, were just that, really. Like, half of his videos were just, like, how terrible the media was, how factually inaccurate it was, and the other half was basically like, here's how it actually is on the issues.
Yeah,
like, one half was, hey, they're providing you shit information. The other half was, here's some good information.
Okay, so I think I've sort of summed up what's going on here. Linus Tech Tips was one of the premier technology YouTube channels. I think realistically it still is, though at the moment their reputation is suffering a little bit of a freefall. They were highly nimble, highly relatable. They had a good balance of humor and information. They had everything they needed to be successful, but YouTube is a cruel mistress. And running a successful YouTube channel and staying relevant is really, really hard.
Yeah, YouTube's algorithm doesn't make it easy. I mean, it like first up, it rewards regular content, hence why we're doing 5 videos a week. It'd be a lot easier to do 3. Yeah, be a lot easier to do 3.
And you've just identified one of the problems that Linus has had. The algorithm. The algorithm rewards regular content, and audiences respond to regular streams of new information.
Yeah,
it's a dopamine.
And also they reward sensationalism as well. I mean, part of that's kind of the human condition, you know, a thumbnail where it's like, you know, that kind of a shitty face in every fucking thumbnail, I swear. You know, with like some, like, God, it even gets me sometimes where it's just like, you know, someone has that face and then it would be like, I don't know, woman in like some scandally clad bikini type setup, and it's like, and like the lizard brain is like, oh, click, and I'm like, wait, why did I click on that? You know, and because it'll
unconsciously
like
you taught the algorithm that you're a sucker for it.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, it's like the fact that it reinforces that sort of thing. Whether, you know, I mean, some could argue it's, you know, not trying to, but nor have they done anything to kind of differentiate, like change that, you know, change the direction. You know, also then there's the algorithm, which the part of the algorithm which it's like a lot of people like this, therefore you know, and they also like this, therefore if you like this you must also like this, and then it fills your feed with a lot of things that you don't like. I binged Jordan Peterson in order to,
you do like.
Yeah, like I binged Jordan Peterson in order to like actually understand him for an episode which we've done.
And your proposals are going to be fucked for a bit.
Well, actually, funny enough, I did that all in private window. Like, yeah. I didn't binge it, you know, so it's
still
not
associated with your internet connection, and YouTube tracks your internet connect. I get ads on Facebook, right? I get ads for things that my partner's demonstrated an interest in because we're using the same internet connection. And it's just like,
oh wow,
what the heck,
I didn't know that was a thing exactly. Wow, it's people on the same internet connection. Interesting. Give me some thoughts. Perhaps I'll just go to people's houses who I think needs a
if your brother has been reading like really smutty werewolf fiction,
okay, let's stop right there.
You're going to get recommendations.
I don't want to know.
You're going to get recommendations for, like, I don't know, Dalek fanfics or something.
Oh, yeah, but here's the thing, because I noticed that basically when I was watching that in incognito mode, it was giving, like, the ads were very religious and very, like, you know, not what I would ever click on. But it's like, oh, people who happen to be religious also happen to like Jordan Peterson. Therefore, you know, we're going to throw a bunch of religious content at you know, somebody who likes Jordan Peterson, which is just weird. You know, I find it strange, and I'm not sure how to change that. But I think that also contributes to this increasing lack of integrity in media content. But that's more of an online thing, you know, as opposed to the very natural lack of integrity in corporate media content, which is by design.
Is it though? Or is it simply, yet again, a reflection of the fact that outrage sells? and that keeping people in a state of outrage sells your products.
I mean, that is true, but up the counter by one, because I am making a whole last 2-hour documentary about how the media is, corporate media is specifically designed to, with a lack of intellectual integrity in mind. So it's intended to be propaganda, but can't wait to see that.
Like the U-Talk show is propaganda for your documentary. On that, yeah, I think we've said something about LTT, and thus we've been relevant, and we've reflected into our own shitty situation with the media that we consume, and that we are to a certain amount force-fed.
Interesting. Yay, casual
we're
convo.
Relevant.
Interesting casual convo there. All right, well, that's the second casual convo episode that we've done. So time is up. We'll see you later. Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.